Okay, this is going to be a video on how to shoot a one-engine inoperative instrument approach, specifically a precision approach in our Seminole aircraft. So starting out, I'm just going to unfreeze the simulator right here, make sure that I'm all set up and ready to go. Before that, I'm going to make sure that I am briefing the approach, know exactly what's going on, and eventually just trying to stay ahead of the aircraft for when the engine does fail. So now we're flying along. I'm gonna bring the power back on that left engine. I was a little slow in this video, but you should immediately be going from right to left, mixture props full forward on the throttle while putting that zero side slip in. So there I go, there's zero side slip, and I went full right to left. Once you identify that that engine has failed, you're going to go make sure that you have everything on. As you saw me checking down to make sure my magnetos are on, making sure my alternator's on, making sure that cowl flap's closed, making sure your fuel selector's on, and try to restart the engine when you can. Once you figure out that you actually can't restart the engine, the first thing you're going to do is start to secure that engine. Your checklist is going to be your best friend in this scenario, just like it is in every scenario. And you should learn from the very beginning of your flight training that the checklist is going to save your life one day. So let's start the engine securing process. I went from left to right usually, so I'm going to shut the mags off of that engine. Then I'm going to go over and turn the fuel pump off, close the cowl flap, turn the alternator off, close the throttle, close the props, and then close the mixture. I'm giving myself sim feather right now instead of actually securing that engine. That's why I'm not moving the props or the mixture back, because this is how we would fly it for SDSU standards. But if you were in a real life scenario with that engine out, I think the best course of action would be to completely shut down the engine so that you're creating less of that drag, less of that asymmetrical thrust to actually roll you to the bad one. So with that engine secured, you just want to make sure that cowl flap is closed, which is going to also create less drag, and make sure that fuel selector is off. Once you do that, you're going to be able to focus on the approach, holding that zero side slip in and making sure you are coordinated at all times. That zero side slip is going to save you, I think it's about, for every degree of bank, it's 3 knots of VMC speed, so it's going to go down a little bit. Usually when we practice this for SDSU, you are going to be talking with your flight instructor, who is going to be acting as ATC. So if you are in this scenario in an ATC environment, you're able to effectively communicate with them and make sure that you know what's going on, you know how to communicate with them, and they know how to communicate with you. First thing you're going to do, if it is in a high or a bad performance area, maybe a high density altitude, you're going to call out to ATC that you might not be able to maintain performance, so you would declare an emergency. But in this scenario in Brookings, we are not an emergency. We have usual or a lot of performance most of the time, so it is not that effective for me. Looks like we're coming through after breaching that approach plate. Descending through minimums here. Looks like we're getting a little close to the ground. So one thing to remember as you get close to the ground, once you pull that throttle back to idle, your risk for VMC is going to be 0. So if you are in a critical situation where you might VMC, you're going to need to pull that throttle back. All right, well, coming into landing here, keeping that power in. I had a positive rate of climb, so I already have my gear down. I'm already configured for landing. So the only thing I have to do that's left here is to hit the runway. There we go. I pulled my throttle out, and I'm coasting back down and have a nice smooth landing on the center line there. So main things to remember is to brief the approach, configure the airplane for the one-engine inoperative approach, and make sure you hit your target.